I've got that finished off now. I've put everything back in place. Tell you what, looks pretty good. G'day guys, welcome back to Bambu Lab. Thanks again for tuning in. I've just finished printing out this AMS Riser. It holds the unit up off the glass so you get a better view. And there's an area in the frame just to the side there that you can stick some LED lights in. There's red, green and blue. Also got a couple of features on there. Check that one out. Cycling through the colours. In this episode we're going to install an RGB LED strip into the recess around the edge of the riser. The stock lamp's pretty good, but it's going to be nice to have that colour changing effect in there, and will be much brighter. I've just been down to the store, picked up a cheap LED strip. It's only $15 with the remote, that one. I'll open that up and we'll get started. The Raptor 3 light's coming in handy already. I've printed this model out and retrofitted a lamp into it. It's also colour changing and very handy now. It lights up the bench beautifully. Let's open up this packet, see what's inside. The RGB strip, plug there, plug that straight into the controller. There's the remote, takes two AAAs. And there's the RGB controller itself, and that plugs into a USB point, so 5 volts into that one. Plug it into the strip and away you go. Before I can start, I'll take the AMS off the top. I do have to unplug the filament line and the power cable. I'll do that now. I'm really happy with this 3D riser model. The print came out fantastic. It's nice and smooth. A little join there. A join underneath the handle there. It's pretty well hidden. And another join at the back. It's under the glass and under the back of the machine. So 4 parts to that print. This print took about 15 hours. There were 5 plates, the 4 main parts, the back left and right, the front left and right. And there are also some joiners that slot in the bottom. I'll take the bracket off and show you. The riser just fits on the top of the machine. Once you take that glass off, it sits perfectly into that lip. These bits on the side here slot up into the base of the AMS and lock it into place. There's these small joiners you glue in. It keeps the frame nice and sturdy. And around the edge here, this is where the LED gets glued in on that angled section, and that other piece there, that's a baffle, so you can't see the light from the top. It's a great design. We'll cut the pieces of LED strip now and glue them in place. These LED strips have got a cut line right in the middle of these copper tabs here, so you can cut that strip through each of these lines and solder it back together where you need to. I'll be putting a short piece here. I only have 3 LEDs there. I'll cut that strip, place another bit around the corner, solder the connections, and carry on and do that again in each of the corners. You can probably get it to fold around the corner, but it's going to look pretty ugly and you might be able to see it from the top, so I'll opt for cutting and joining. I've got the LED strip cut. circuit will feed in at that end. We'll put a soldered connection on those 4 tabs and join each corner. Come right back around to the start again there. Before I stick them in place, I'll get a Stanley knife blade and remove that sheathing across the top. It's like a weatherproof silicone rubber. I need to cut that off, get it away from the terminals before we start. Here's another 3D print. It's going to come in handy today. I've been looking for one of these for a while. Look at the blade and press it down into that rubber, just at the top of where those fingers are, those copper fingers. Fold that a bit and then peel that rubber off. That leaves those tabs ready to be soldered onto. Here's another one. Just press your blade in. Fold that a little and it will peel off. I'll do that to the rest of them and then we can start soldering. I've got all the ends stripped off. That's what they look like when they're ready to go. I'll tin those connections before I stick them on. That'll make the process easier later on. I've got my soldering iron set to 300 and some 1mm solder. Go and tin each of these connections. Add a little bit of solder to your iron. Touch that solder on the pad. You don't want to put too much solder on because you end up with one big blob. Just put little neat dobs like that on each of the tabs, and then it makes it easier to join the wires on once it's in situ. Make sure you've got a nice clean tip when you're doing this. A little bit of solder again. I've stuck that first piece down, and right there you can see the B is on the top side. So when we put the next strip in, make sure that B is at the top side. Place it in, make sure it's centered. There we go, ready for solder. There's the strip, all stuck in place. Got those tin terminals ready to go. We'll get some wire at the workshop. Put a couple of little jumpers across there. You see it doesn't quite make it to the corner, but you're limited to 3 pixels on each of the cut sections. I've got some trailer cable here. It's got 4 cores in it. So it'll be fine for this. Bit of overkill, but that's what I've got laying around, so we'll use that one. I've stripped the ends of those wires, and now we can tin them. Once the wires are tinned like that, the joining process is very easy. Just put the bits of metal together. A little bit of fresh solder on the iron and a quick dab and they'll be joined. There's my first link. This is the green one on that first corner. Cut it to length And now it's ready to go. Now that everything's tinned and ready to go, we'll just line that green wire up with the G there, add some heat and make that connection. That's the first corner complete. The 4 wires joining. Might get the hot glue gun now. Squirt a little bit in there, stop that coming away, and a little bit over the wires in the corner, just to make sure they stay secure. But before I do that, I'm going to get some batteries for the remote, plug it in quickly, and just give it a test. I've got myself a couple of AAAs, put them in the remote. Here's the power supply, 5 volts. I've plugged the cable in now. There's that connection off to the controller. The controller's just inside that bit of heat shrink there. Little board in there that picks up the signal from the remote. Switch that on now. We've got a sort of a blue light. It's purple, bright blue. I've added the glue, so they're nice and secure now. There's the last connection done. This one here I've glued, it's just cooling down a bit. So I'll whack a bit more glue over the top of that one to keep things secure. Turn it on now. There we go. That's the completed ring. I've got that finished off now. I've put everything back in place. I'll tell you what, it looks pretty good. It's only a cheap set of LEDs, so it's not overly bright, but it's plenty for lighting up that chamber. Dim the light down, and we can brighten that back up again. We'll go through the colours. Red, green, and blue. Also got a couple of features on there. Check that one out. Cycling through the colours. That's called flash. We've got strobe. There's the strobe setting. Just coming on and off the white light. And we've got fade. That one's fading between all the colours. That looks pretty nice, that setting. And the last one, smooth. A bit of a disco. That's the end of that little install. Went pretty smoothly. It's given me a lot better vision through the top there when I'm printing. That standard light was pretty good, but this is next level now. We can see every side of the model. The standard LED fitting in there used to just light up one side of the model and leave a big shadow on the other, so now it's surrounded by LEDs. There should be no worries. Alright guys, thanks for watching Beast Lab. We'll catch you in the next episode. Coming up soon, I'll be featuring how I built this lamp and printed out all the parts, come up with the brackets on Tinkercad and wired it all together. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss that one.